Bremner. Or like that.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Wow, look at that. Two of us today. I have guests.
How'd you sneak in?
I don't know.
I didn't see. You just showed up.
This is Kaz Kwiatkowski, City Councilman, and...
I am?
No, not you.
Oh.
You could be, though.
Oh, okay. Hi.
And my good friend, sidekick.
I'm DJ, not Kaz. That's him.
You've been gone for a while, too, huh?
I've been gone forever. It's been crazy.
Yeah, we've both been, like, on the, as Willie Nelson would say, on the road again.
It's funny because we were both down south, but we missed each other.
You were even further south.
I went further south. I went so far south, I almost touched water.
Oh, you?
I was in Alabama. I was in Atmore, Alabama. I went to Kentucky. I went to Tennessee. I went to Georgia. I did the whole southern tour thing.
I'll be doing awesome. Mississippi later this year.
Mississippi sounds cool. I didn't hit that one, but...
Yeah, we go, then we do hit the Gulf.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you know.
I had an incredible journey. I went to the Corvette Museum, you know, the one that had the sinkhole.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. And I'm not really a big fan of Corvettes, but
it'd be nice if they gave you samples there, you know.
Yeah, well, you should have seen the cars that they pulled out of the hole. It was insane. They were just wrecked. They were completely trashed.
Ugh.
They're going to make recreations of a couple of them and fix a couple of them, but...
Some of them they can't fix at all, huh?
Yeah, some of them are they're just, all you have left are wheels. They're that bad. It was an amazing thing to see. I saw some other cool stuff. I went to Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket Center, Space Camp. Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
If you're available, Kaz, our meeting is tonight.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I think that's right. I think I will be.
7 o'clock if you're available.
Should be a good meeting tonight, huh?
I hope so.
Did we have a party this week? I couldn't remember.
You know, I thought it was the Spring Fest.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was wild, though, did it?
Normally it's around Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I think they pushed it back a week, but it seemed like it was toned down, so we'll find out tonight.
Yeah, we got, I'm sure we'll have other little shindigs starting pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll try to get there tonight. There's a good bet I will be.
Yeah, they're going to talk, I think somebody's going to mention about that drunk bus, that they bring the kids back from the bars downtown.
Yeah. Why, they having trouble with that bus, or?
Oh, yeah, they got big trouble with that bus.
Yeah, they used to call that, they had different names for the different colleges.
Drunk bus.
Drunk bus.
Yeah, I know somebody that drove it one night, and he said it wasn't very nice.
Aww.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, the cleaning crew is definitely busy.
Oh, yeah. Urinating on the bus and puking on the bus and everything else.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. So that's going to be addressed.
And as they remind me, it's only kids growing up. And you must have done that once yourself, they said.
It is ridiculous. And I guess the bus company must have complained. And I guess the bus has stopped for a while, and I think it might resume at some later point.
Yeah, encouraging people to drink is not a good thing.
What is the university doing to, kind of eliminate that problem?
Well, they say they give classes, but, I was that age once, and no class is going to solve it. What they have to do, and I know I sound mean and old and cranky, but, after a while, you got to slap them with a penalty that's worthy of it. You give them a chance so they don't screw up their life, but after that, you make your own choices in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing anything to encourage.
No, actually,
Somebody said they have a grant that the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board gave them some kind of a grant. Well, evidently they're not using it or whatever.
At different times they were, can't say too much over the air, but I'd be glad to talk to you quietly tonight about it.
Uh-huh.
There have been things that were done, but not enough. The problem is today there's so many problems. I mean.
Maybe they should just let them drink on campus.
That's why they drink off campus. I mean, they're tougher on campus. I can remember when my daughter went to college, they were so tough that, the kids went off campus just like they're doing here,
Oh, they're drinking. The ones that are underage are drinking in the residential areas.
Well, sure they are. And very few have ever been arrested. It's almost a farce that I know our policemen, they're busy. They don't have time to babysit these kids.
Right.
But,
Do a little bit more with their police and their security, but they can't go north of 38th Street, so there you got a problem there.
and even if they could, I don't think they want to. Gannon's done it, and
And you don't hear that about Gannon.
no, they did years ago, but they seem to have solved their problem a little bit better than, Mercier's.
I don't know, maybe like I said, maybe they should let them drink on campus. They can do all their dirty stuff on campus and keep the residential area cleaner.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is invite the president and a lot of other people, their board of directors, to sit in one of the houses in our neighborhood and watch the show. It's a better show than you can get on Broadway.
Maybe the board of trustees should get a copy of this, the letter that's going around about the buses.
Well, I'm sure they have, but you know what? They'll poo-poo it. And
Yeah.
that's why I walked away. I was a member of that one committee that met quarterly. I walked away from it because I just don't feel like I want to be part of a group where you feel like a hypocrite, where everybody's patting each other on the back. And
Yeah, they don't do anything about it.
nothing's really changed. It's got a little better in some areas, but it just goes to another area,
We'll see if tonight, if the Spring Fest took place, or if that's going to be at a future date.
Yeah, nobody really cares because they think, it's a minor problem. It's just kids, and
Weather
But
wasn't that great either.
yeah, wait till about 20 years from now when the neighborhood is really racked and it's gone. They'll wonder what happened. They had a chance to save it, but
That's right. Well, we'll see tonight. If you're available, and then we'd love to have you.
yeah, I should be. I hope more people will show up, though.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, I think they get discouraged.
Yeah, you can't blame them.
That's right.
Some of them have already voted with their feet.
Yeah,
They have gone south and east.
that's right. Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
Kaz.
I said it before and I'll say it again.
What's that?
Bring back prohibition.
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 No, that's not the answer. But I did
don't
say
know.
bring back. I got nailed for a comment I did make.
Oh, really?
Bring back the draft. That'll calm
Bring back
people
the draft?
down.
What?
That'll calm these kids
Yeah,
down.
why not?
Go ahead, caller.
You have the downtown district condoning it every weekend.
Well, sure you do, and that's the problem. We've turned into a bar town, and
Geneva on the Lake.
yep. Only, yeah, you're pretty close, John. I would have to agree with you.
I have a couple of things. I see where the chief of police and the mayor came out and they're going to lay out their deal to curtail crime.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great thing to curtail crime. There's no doubt about it. But where is he going to send all these police officers? It used to be just down in the lower, well, I'll say the central east side.
Yeah. Now it seems to be spreading.
Now it's all over the whole city, and they're going to take grant money, and they're going to make police officers work overtime.
Yeah, but see now. Okay, go ahead. I'll let you have your say because
The whole thing here is after a police officer puts in his shift, a long 8 hours, regardless if he's just riding around doing nothing, that's 8 hours.
right, he's got to be at the top of his game too.
Right, and this is going to get old fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just like the Army with their new light, fast Army, smaller.
Yeah.
You're working the guys harder, and when you're young, you can take it. But then you reach a point where you start to slide because you can't maintain the same level.
Well, I was at a point when I was working 15 hours, 16 hours a day for 2 and 3, 4 weeks in a row.
Then it gets to you.
And boy, after a while, you don't even know where you're at.
Yeah, trouble with a policeman though, if he takes a nod or if he.
Could be his last one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same as you and I remember the old city. That was
Yeah,
different.
your dad, your uncle, they went through. You probably heard conversations.
Yeah, I mean, they could have a rough time if they, if they had took an easy time, nothing happened. But today, with the amount of gunplay going on,
True, these guys are out there. They're at risk constantly, and my hat goes off to them.
I'm still going to say this, John, and I know I've been told I'm wrong, and I know it costs money, but we need more policemen.
That's true. The mayor backdoors the taxpayer on taxes or service charges. He should come right out and tell tell the people, I need more policemen. I have to raise the taxes. I'm going to raise the taxes. None of this stuff after the barn door is open, the horse is out, or, the whole shot here. Come out and tell the people what he needs.
I actually got a plan how we could pay for those policemen, too.
I hope it's not a stimulus plan like that guy in Washington did.
What's that?
Well, he let us have 5 police officers, but then we had to pick up the freight for him.
Yeah, no, my plan is, what we have to do, and this has to come from down in Harrisburg, which makes it pretty difficult, but it's obvious that the cities have a lot of tax exempts.
Too many.
Right, now, there has to be either, we get pilots with 2 of the hospitals and a few other places, but we need, quit buying us fire trucks and quit buying us cars. And
yeah, go out and get a bond issue for capital improvement that won't last 10 years.
Right, here's what I think they should do. How about, and I've called this my Adopt a Cop program or something, how about you provide us with 3 policemen or something like that, so that you have 1 for every shift, because things have to come in multiple to make them work, Well,
I recall years ago they used to have watches in the various crime areas, and the people did not have any police power, but they had a number to call if they needed help.
Yeah, sometimes I've used volunteers on bicycles. I've seen that, where they give them police radios.
Yeah.
And then they train them. They train them in what to look for, so, they're just not calling up about every, little thing. But people know their neighborhood. But here's what I say, John. We need to tell the tax exempts that, maybe you're not paying taxes, but you have to contribute to fire and police, and this is what we need. And the money could be what I call dedicated or segregated in such a way that can only be used for that.
Well, sure, you got Gannon Calls, Mercyhurst, Lee Calm. Let them all put a police officer on the force.
Well, a couple at least, and what, we can work out a deal with who pays for the pension, who pays for the insurance,
That's true.
But the big thing is, let's get more guys on the street. They say no, what they're doing is they're saying, well, we can make it work. Yeah, you're making it work, but you're really stressing.
In the end.
You're stressing people.
It's true.
Like when our fire department has to call in the volunteers to back them up,
Yep.
or we have to call men in overtime, I know these are troubling times, but, right now, when you hear people talking on TV about the Wild Wild West atmosphere,
Yeah.
it's pretty bad. And God bless our policemen. They work hard. Every one of them, I know they're out there, but they can't answer the little calls now because the big calls are taking precedence.
Little calls will turn into big ones.
Sure they will. If you look around the city, you're seeing the seeds of a town that's being stressed. I took a ride today. I was rather embarrassed.
I took a ride today and I couldn't believe it.
I was answering these calls that people gave me. I've been doing them over the last 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Some of the areas I drove into, I'm going, wow. I said, what the hell happened,
It's true, the roads are horrible. Talk about roads being horrible. I saw a city truck towing this blacktop going 45 miles an hour over 38th Street. I hope he was in a hurry to go fill a lot of potholes.
Yeah, well, you don't know where they were going, but...
Yeah, I know where they're going. They were going down Burton. And I even know the truck number, but I won't tell you on the air.
Yeah, well, like I say, we need more. There's no doubt. You never have enough policemen, but a few more would help, I think.
It's true, all these people out there, those 45% are the deadbeats. Well, it's time for the deadbeats to take the ball.
Yeah.
Well, have a good one. If you're slow, I'll call you back.
Okay. Yeah, I took some rides today. It was eye-openers about some of the debris that people are leaving all over the place, and
It's amazing to see the amount of stuff that people are still putting out.
in houses that are condemned, and I'm going,
Yeah, definitely.
I've seen them before, but I went to some areas I haven't been in a couple of years. Go ahead, caller.
I was just wondering, there hasn't been much talk about that Vidoc.
Which one?
Vidoc. Whatever happened to that?
Well, the only thing council's heard, we had some people approach us about wanting to turn it into a park, believe it or not. And it was a group, Lisa Austin was involved in it, where they want to try to save the viaduct and make it into a pedestrian walkway.
Yeah.
And for bikes. Outside of that, it's still being, the state hasn't come out with the final thing yet, the solution, and I know they're working on it, but I'll try to check with Father Jerry. He's on that committee, and I'll ask him, see if he can update me. Would that be okay?
Yeah, it just seems like it's been about a year since that big meeting at that Glasgow Library, and
Yeah, what they're probably doing now is finalizing it, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be good unless we, try to find a way to save it.
yeah. Okay then.
But are you in favor of saving it?
No, I don't. You haven't used that for how many years?
Yeah.
They should just rip it down and put a road through there.
But I don't think they'll put a road through there. I'm not sure if they want to, but
I don't think it'd be ideal for a park, but
well, I think they've seen other cities that did it, and that was the last plan we had. But we haven't had an update really from Harrisburg, or I'll try to contact the engineer, see what the time frame is, and I'll talk to Father Jerry and see if I can report back to you.
okay then.
Okay. I know they've been.
Yeah.
It should be coming out shortly.
It's been so long, and everybody's gotten used to going around it. At this point, if you just take it down.
I still get calls from people that, and not the people that protested either.
Yeah.
Some people that say, it'll sound like I'm saying it, but
Right.
their comments were, unless you're an East Sider, you don't realize the difference between the McBride Viaduct and the.
Oh, I know the difference because
Yeah.
I am an
Between
East
the
Sider.
road. Huh?
And I am an East Sider, and I used to take that all the time to get over to 12th Street, and I appreciate how important it is to have that shortcut, but we've also moved on, and it's been so long without it that we will adjust.
The sad thing is if we were Pittsburgh or we had a little more political power,
Yeah.
that bridge would be back up.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
hey, I only look to the south here,
yeah.
where they built a subway tunnel for 81 baseball games,
Yeah,
9 or 10 football games, well, a little bit more at Pitt.
yeah.
And basically, money was no problem, even though
Yeah.
it had cost overruns. And
Back in the day.
no, it wasn't too long ago they did that.
Really?
In Pittsburgh, yeah. They used to be, you crossed at the Roberto Clemente Bridge, you go,
Okay.
but then they decided to put a subway station. Maybe not a bad idea, but justified, with sports only, didn't.
But they had the money and the power, so they
Well,
just...
they're Pittsburgh, and they have more bridges you can count. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Kaz, I got two things I got to say, okay?
Yeah.
First thing, the one thing about that, with the McBride Viaduct, all the businesses that were on East Avenue have come, gone, and they are greatly missed.
Yep. I would agree with you because it looks like it's going to be a ghost town on East Avenue now.
Oh, it is, because, I used to go to a certain restaurant down there on, down on East Avenue and that, it's called Fisher's and that.
Yeah.
I used to love that place down there.
Well, we used to go down there for breakfast I think Barney's was at the end, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then I still, every once in a while, I still go to what used to be Pio's. I go to Empire Pizza,
Yeah.
but it's a little more difficult to get there now, so.
Well, that's true. And the other thing I want to talk to you about is this deal about finding empty beer bottles, whiskey bottles and stuff on my church lawn. I'm getting tired of it.
Where's that?
Lamb of God Lutheran Church.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to, because when I was at the one meeting, they were talking about the carekeeper that goes around there.
Yep.
He found a bottle of vodka, empty, but
Yeah.
planted under the lawn. I
Yeah.
mean, under the bushes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at a church. I mean,
Well, I go over now, and, like I said, I'm a parishioner there, okay?
yeah.
And every Sunday when I go to church, I'm either finding an empty beer bottle, an empty beer can. I'm getting tired of it.
It's disturbing, isn't it?
Very.
Coming from a Christian college, and that's where it came from, and if at least have the respect and decency not to do it at a church.
Exactly. I mean, I don't care whether it's a Catholic church or a Lutheran church or whatever kind of church it is. If you got a drink, take the crap with you.
Yeah, I agree with you. And thank you for letting us use your church because Yeah, my kids went to preschool there and everything. It's a very nice parish.
Yeah, well, we're on the verge of our pastors retiring in June, so what's going to happen to it, I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing, I will go there no matter what.
Yeah, they're nice people there, and
They are.
I get disturbed when I got a field next to my house, so I can only imagine. I used to get a lot of debris there too, but finding it under a church is just not. That in the schoolyards, that's almost like it's. Come on, give me a break,
Well, that's true. I mean, like I said, I go there. I plan on dying at that church.
Well, we don't want that to happen.
Well, I'm just saying, that's what it's going to be. But I just don't want. I don't want to constantly see the rubbish or the trash or the bottles or that. I'm tired of it.
Oh yeah, it's spread through the neighborhood, but you hope that at least the church was a bastion of safety, but I guess that isn't true anymore either.
No more, no.
So, I hate to say this, hopefully nothing else goes on there after dark.
I hope not, man. I really do.
Yeah, that's,
All right, Kaz. Thanks a lot.
Hey, how do you feel about East Avenue? You in favor of getting it more developed?
I'm in favor of them. I've been in favor of them redoing the McBride Viaduct.
Yeah, they need access on some way on East Avenue, because when you lose a bank and you lose some of the restaurants that were down there.
I mean, I was not in favor of this Bayfront access when it first came out, but now I travel it a lot. Yes, it makes it a lot easier to get from point A to point B.
Right.
But it also costs a lot of jobs and a lot of other things, too.
Yeah, I remember when we built East High School, the school district, they said it would, bring the neighborhood back, give it some pride, and it did for a while. But now you go down there, and if you listen to Father Jerry at his neighborhood watch meetings, it's kind of like getting blocked in such a way that you're not getting a good flow of business through there.
No.
You got some businesses you wish worked there.
Exactly.
Thank you for calling, though.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'd be in favor of rebuilding it. I don't know if putting a park is actually going to help it, because
No, I think-
people could walk across, but
Well, I mean, it was a plan that to save it. That
yeah.
you got one group that definitely wants to keep it open for vehicular traffic,
Right.
and the other group doesn't. And it's just one of those great debates about.
Yeah.
It's probably a road that should have been taken care of. Before
Sure.
it got this bad.
Yeah.
Because before I was an East Sider, I didn't understand it that much. It was, but once you get used to the traffic there,
Yeah.
going around Buffalo Road and
I used to
Broad Street, and
I liked coming over the viaduct. I liked using that when I lived further over on the east side. It was the most convenient way to get across and get on 12th Street.
But when I was a school board member, it was the fastest way to get down to East High School, where we had our meetings. And it was like nice and smooth,
Yeah.
And the businesses you saw along there at the time was, you could go to Barney's, and we still got the New York Lunch there and a few others, and classic places,
Yeah.
You had some nice taverns that were, decent places to go, and,
I think we should keep it and we should fix it, but if we can't, or it's just way too expensive or too involved,
whatever
take it
they
down.
do, though, they got to open up East Avenue's getting to be like I call it the cul-de-sac mentality.
Yeah.
And it's not helping that area,
Right.
The thing is, like when you build highways that aren't elevated in certain ways, when you shut down neighborhoods, that causes different kinds of problems.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that, but
Don't know what to say.
after riding around a little bit in the last couple of years, and we need a kickstart. We need something something more than bars downtown. We need,
Yeah, that's
there's a lot of nice places. We need to build them up too. The Puffer Bellies, the Bertrands, the Sidewalk Cafe, all those places. Go ahead, caller.
You're discussing McBride Viaduct.
Yeah.
There's only one person or one outfit to blame for the downfall of that area down there. That's Harrisburg, PennDOT.
Yeah, probably.
They did not put that road in properly. Years ago, when it was the industrial center, Al Runcer used to be there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon directing traffic from north, east, west, and south.
You mean on 12th and East Avenue?
12th and East Avenue, right below the bridge. There was so much traffic, they had to put a patrol officer out there.
Man, wouldn't we like to see those days back?
Yeah, well, there was a picture in the paper this morning showing Earring in 1905 and present day. And I looked down, I looked north, I think it was from 12th Street.
Yeah.
And all you saw on both sides of the street were tax-paying entities.
Yep.
Now you don't have any of that.
Well, there was a time when, not too long ago,
No?
that when all the new things came into the city.
It all started when they wanted to put that Transitway Mall back in there with Tulio.
Yeah, there was a lot of little things. I think the first thing they did wrong was redevelopment was, the way they did it was too all-encompassing.
True, it took all your businesses and forced them out of town.
Yeah, and then when the money ran out,
Then they cried.
yeah, because there was no money to build the buildings that they envisioned.
You had Weber down there, you had Isaac Baker, you had my cousins with both their clothes shops,
Yeah.
and they said this was going to fold, and
Well, I remember they were just tearing down buildings. Usually you would hope that, like what they did in Allentown with their Chris project.
yeah.
Okay, they tore out a section of the city, but they had commitments to build.
Well, if the city had any brains up there on the fifth floor, they would have realized that they had to form another authority instead of anticipating authority that could take it.
Well, like when they tore down all these blocks of, remember neighborhoods, John?
Yes?
And they wouldn't build nothing right away there.
No?
So you had empty fields that became parking lots until all they said was, let's tear down the building and let's try to push it.
True.
Instead of saying, we need this land. Do we have a commitment? Think of all the movie theaters we tore down and all the buildings that might have been able to be used and, fixed up.
Sure.
But, you've seen some around town fixed up. Lori Eaton fixed up her building and...
And the sad part about the buildings that are being fixed up? It's people using their own money, not state, federal, or grants. I remember when there was a radio station right down there where the old library used to be, right across the way there, Leon Dreyfus with WLEU.
Where was it? Across from the Wood Library?
6th Street Library.
Oh, really? That's where LEU was?
That's where he had his radio station right in the back.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, though. As you ride around the city and you look at, places they gutted, and there was no, there was no plan to fix them,
Oh, and all you have down there now is Gannon College and Erie Insurance, but at least they're on the pilot program.
Well, it's Strong, Vincent and Hammett are.
Yeah, but they are also.
Who?
Well, Hammett and Vincent.
Yeah, that's the only ones that are on the pilot that are major, big ones.
They throw a couple SUVs, and they figure that's good for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, not in my book.
No, in Lecom, they throw a couple $100,000, and that's good for 4 or 5 years. And, the mayor has a person working for him. He could take some of that money and get a new police officer, because he's sure not bringing in the revenue on any pilot program or bringing it in. And he has an assistant. She's getting, $70,000, $80,000 a year? There'll be another police officer.
I just got back from the Knox Law Firm's legal seminar last week, and I was questioning...
Wally?
Huh?
Wally Knox?
He wasn't there.
Okay.
But I was questioning the policies of the tax exempt, because people ask me that all the time about, whether this is tax exempt, that tax exempt. When you see what's tax exempt, because the law is so vague and all-encompassing, they really have to tighten it up in Harrisburg. I'm not against people that do great things like the soup kitchens, John, stuff like that.
Yeah, that is...
Or the sisters that, their outreach programs.
Now they're trying, and they even donate.
But, and even providing them with parking, I would even go that far, But when we get into athletic compounds and, different things, hotels and all that, and I'm going,
Hotel, dorm rooms, selling selling foods and snacks, and all that revenue can be taxed.
Yeah, it was funny. I remember I was talking to Edinburgh one time. They couldn't believe it. The borough found out that the college wanted to put a little mini mart on campus. Mm-hmm. Now think of that,
Yep. Well, don't you think Gannon has one yet?
Oh, they probably do.
No.
And so, how do they help our community?
It doesn't at all. But as far as the McBride Viaduct goes, that is a dead subject. It isn't going anywhere. I'll tell you right now, even before Harrisburg brings it out to you.
Well, that's well, I think that's the fear of a lot of us that.
Well, they're going to knock that down. They won't put the money into it. Federal money. You still got to come up with $200,000 or $300,000, and the people out there are not paying their fair share, and we're going to be stuck.
If this was Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah.
Or Philly, where they once had 5 athletic facilities still standing.
And they're all city and state run.
Yep. In Pittsburgh, they could put another bridge and nobody blink an eye.
Well, they need them all because the way the rivers run.
Right, true, but you know what? Like somebody once told me, this isn't Pittsburgh, and I said, you're right.
That's true, but yet where does all our business and all our studies and everything come from? We hire Pittsburgh firms, Philadelphia firms from down south to build the hotels and everything else. We have to wake up and smell our own roses.
And you're right, John. We're not Pittsburgh, but guess what? We're also not Mayberry.
Right, and the whole thing here is all these projects that are up, the Peach Street and all that, they're going to go belly up, and no one's going to come into them anyways.
Yep.
They'll be depleted and outdated before they're even used. That guy from the one that came from Fairview that GE has bought the property for him up there. Mm-hmm. He'll be leaving when he goes to Texas. Have a great day.
He's talking about the apartments up here.
Oh, yeah. Is there still somebody living there?
Just one, I think.
Just one? Yeah, I saw something on their porch the other day.
It's got to be him, I think. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, you started to talk about following up on phone calls from last week. I was wondering if you took a ride through the alley on Cherry Street between West 2nd and West 3rd.
Funny you would mention that. I did.
Did you?
Boy, I tell you what, that's an eye-opener.
Yeah, the piles, like you said, and the worst of it is that most of it's all yard waste, tree trimmings, firewood, stuff that could all be put in barrels and set out to the curb for compost.
I was even surprised that I saw your house there with the barbecue grill.
523 and a half.
Yeah, and then I was surprised there's a couple of really ruddy abandoned properties at the other end.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, 2 right next to each other.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, the little White House, they had actually fixed up. It was ready to rent, but there's no place to park there. And again, like I said, you got to drag your garbage down to Walnut Street for that particular house to take your garbage out. The alley never gets plowed by the city. We all pay property taxes, but it don't get plowed. It don't get street cleaners. It don't. We don't get no police patrol. We pay taxes, but get nothing in return for it.
Well, I tell you, I got to admit to you that I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. This isn't the only alley like this in the city. I know of at least half a dozen of them that have homes in them.
Wow, I tell you, because when I found it, because a friend of mine lives up the block a little bit, and I was driving down, I said, that's got to be it. There was a little brick entrance with some brick in the front, and I said, that's got to be the road,
Yeah.
So I did ride down it. You can ride down it clear,
Oh, yeah, like I said, it's, on the list of things, the priorities that need to be done in the city. I know I'm on the bottom of the list, especially bad as the roads are and all that.
I gotta see.
But like I said, the biggest thing is, this is almost 2 lanes of paved blacktop, but you see how there's barely 1 lane because all the leaves and compost and stuff built up on the side.
Yeah, I wondered, I got to see how the city classifies that.
Yeah. Like I said, that's going to take more than a street cleaner. Street cleaner is just going to spread it around. You need to come in with a front end loader and scrape them years of built up leaves and compost and grass clippings and people that dump their fireplace ashes in there and everything else needs to be scraped off the blacktop, and then it needs to be gone over with a street cleaner. So, to do it right, it's going to take some time.
I could see, like where you were talking about one day, that probably was a nice neighborhood, you know.
Oh, yeah, it was a beautiful neighborhood, you know. Now, even my house, the shingles are getting bad. I need to have the house resided here, but my house was built in 1850.
Oh, really?
165 years old now. So.
That's an 1850 house. That's amazing.
Built in 1850, yep.
I'll take my friend DJ down there sometime for a ride.
We really should. We should go document everything. We'll take pictures.
Oh, I'm telling you, when he told me, I couldn't believe that. I mean, I've heard about these roads, but it's one of those things that you could drive by and miss it every time.
Yeah. Well, when my grandparents first moved in here, the alley was pretty full. There was another half a dozen houses, and most of the houses that were on 2nd Street and 3rd Street had garages in the alley. You know, so it was tarred and chipped. It was never really paved.
Yeah.
But it was well maintained. And then it went for 30, 40 years where it was just dirt alley, where they still they came through with the grader, graded it once in a while. Then finally, about 10, 15 years ago, they came through and paved it. I think it was right at the end of Savacchio's administration there when they were trying to pave every street in the city.
Yeah, because that's when I got mine paved finally.
Yeah. But then since then, the only way it gets taken care of is when I call and complain about it. So I figure instead of calling code enforcement or the streets department, because when I call streets, they say call code enforcement.
Yeah.
Call code enforcement, they say call streets department. So I figure maybe I'll talk to you. It'll get done by the end of the year, end of the summer. Like I said, I know driving around the city with the streets after this terrible winter, that's not a priority, but it's something that needs to be done. One thing that could be done, though, is you saw the piles of brush and piles of that stuff. You know, that's all, like I said, that's compost. Why can't the property owners just put that in a barrel and set it to the curb and it goes out with the garbage every week?
Yeah, they don't, though.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, you saw my property. The house ain't nothing pretty to look at, but my property's clean. It's always mowed. The weeds are gone.
So top of your list, you want to see the debris cleaned up first, right?
Yeah, all the stuff, the leaves, like I said, years and years, the leaves fall out of the trees, plus people rake their yards. From the houses that live on 2nd Street and 3rd Street, you know, instead of just putting them in barrels and getting rid of them with the garbage compost, they just dump them in the alley because that's, you know, to the people that live on 2nd and 3rd Street, it's just an alley, so they don't think nothing of dumping their stuff there. You know, but the alley is where my house is. That's where I live. You know, and it just builds up and builds up. And, you know, after years and years of leaves building up, you know, they just turn to that mucky mud compost.
Yeah.
And like I said, no normal street cleaner is just going to come through and clean that up. It's so bad now, you got to scrape it out with a front end loader first and then run a street cleaner through. So, because I remember a couple times it got built up pretty bad and they tried coming in with a street cleaner and you just wind up hearing the street cleaner making this god awful noise, and then it was just, the mess was just spread around. It was never really cleaned up.
I thought they had an alley cleaner. I got to find out if they still do.
They have a smaller street cleaner, but like I said, that's even worse. It's smaller than the full-size one.
Maybe that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I'll try to get the public works guy to take a ride down there.
Yeah. I had a pretty good rapport with some of the guys that were down at the city garage there for a while, and I kind of lost touch with them. But, it's been a while now, though. It's been 5 or 6 years, so you can imagine 5 or 6 years of leaf buildup and grass clippings and tree trimmings. And
the road seems to be in good shape, though, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, like I said, blacktop's in decent shape. The water department's been in here, because there's actually a water main in this alley.
Really?
And they've been in and done a few repairs on water mains, and, they even tried digging up the blacktop and leaving it dirt, and I got on their case, and I made them come in and repave what they dug up, so, you just got to constantly, seems like nothing gets done without calling and complaining. And like I said, I learned from Mario years and years ago, the squeaky wheel gets grease first, but...
That's true.
I hate being the grease.
But I did go down to a couple days ago. I took a ride, and I was moderately surprised.
Yeah. Like I said, this property here, actually, I don't know if you noticed, my yard goes all the way to 2nd Street. That's because there was, at one time there was 3 other houses on this property that got condemned and tore down, and we bought the vacant lots. So I don't know if you had noticed that or not.
When I was looking, you had like a gate that opened onto 2nd Street, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like I said, I own the property all the way to 2nd Street.
Where'd they tear down the houses? On the alleys, in the alleyway, or?
Well, actually, there was 2 houses, one on both sides of me, one on the east side of me, one on the west side of me, and then out, my address is 523 and a half,
right.
And out on 2nd Street was 523, and then on both east and west side of 523, there was 519 and 525.
So there were houses in back and front of you, both, right?
Yeah, there was houses, like I said, this used to be a big industrial area because of the docks over the hill. People used to just walk over the hill to all the shipping, back in the day, the ships were unloaded by hand, So they had a lot of people that lived you had your nice residential houses on the street, and then you had all your little rental properties more or less behind the houses. Mm-hmm. And it happened to be that we were a responsible family that maintained and took care of the house in the alley, while the houses on 2nd Street were sold to landlords and stuff that just let them go get condemned and abandoned, and then they come in and tear them down, and then they were just vacant lots. And then these lots down here are only 30 feet wide, so city code, that's not big enough to build on no more.
Oh.
So now you have to have at least 2 lots that are 60 feet wide to build on. I believe the new code is 40 feet or 50 feet, but all these old lots down here are only 30 feet wide. So if you only have one vacant property, you can't even build a house on there.
Yeah, my house was, they made, it was 60 by 125 a lot. That was the new code, not too long ago.
Yeah.
But I can remember, let's see, if you would have taken 2 lots today of 120 feet, in the old days, they would at least put 3 houses on there.
Oh, yeah, they built them right next to each other.
Yeah, that's why they had shared driveways and...
The house right in front of me, it was a 2-story apartment house, 523, and the one to the east of that, 519, it was almost like a ranch house, but it was turned sideways.
Yeah.
And then again on the west side of 523, 525 was another apartment house. Well, in fact, the people that live next door to me, they actually have 6 lots. They have 3 lots on 2nd Street, 3 lots in the alley. There's just 1 home there now, but at one time there were 6 homes on that property.
Right. When the town was growing, they were jamming houses in everywhere.
Yeah. Well, like I said, back in the day, you had all the shipping industry over the hill. You had the power plant over there. You had all the fuel tanks that were...
Yep, down around Cascade, I think, wasn't it?
You had fishing industry. In fact, right across the street in Bayview Park there, in the east end of Bayview Park, that was the old ice house. You ever see pictures of them sawing ice out of the bay and hauling it up on a conveyor belt? That's where it went to. It went to the old ice house. He used to sit on the corner of 2nd and Walnut.
Really?
So, yeah, that's back before refrigerators. That was,
they took the ice out of the bay, didn't they?
Yeah, they sawed big chunks right out of the bay, right on the conveyor belt, up the hill into the ice house, where it was stored with straw and sawdust, and it was just this great big giant wooden building. It was 40, 50 feet high, stacked ice, and there was ice there till next winter.
You see, there's a story. They actually took them up conveyor belts up the hill, huh?
Oh, yeah, you never seen them pictures?
No, I'd seen the guys sawing the ice on the water.
Yeah, and they're putting them right on a conveyor belt, and that conveyor belt, I'm sure there was probably a couple other along the waterfront and along the hillside, but that one, most of the ones you see right there, that was at foot of Walnut Street there, just east of the Chestnut Street pumping station there at the water department.
I still remember guys delivering them.
Oh, yeah.
With the tongs on their back.
Tongs.
Well, because they still had a lot of people still had what they call ice boxes.
Oh, yeah. Well, ice boxes were around right up till the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, my grandfather had one. He didn't have a real refrigerator for a while,
Wow.
I don't remember an ice box in my house, but I can still remember having milk delivered, having the milkman. That's about as old as I get, though.
Right, he used to have the little dry ice in there, and as kids, we used to take a couple of those dry ices, toss them in the ponds. We loved to watch
That's fun.
the vapor. Could burn your hands too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, I was just wondering if you took right through, saw what I
I did. I purposely made sure I did that, and
Like I said, on the list of things that ain't that terrible, the garbage ain't that bad. It builds up, and then people clean it up. Yeah, it builds up, and then they clean it up. But, it just seems like the compost and that mess along the edges just stays there and stays there. It never goes away.
I'm going to go back with my camera, and I'll bring it up to streets and to the public works.
Thank you.
Okay, give me a call back every time to keep me aware of it, okay?
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Bye.
And I'm going to ride along, and we're going to do your new show, and it's going to be Ride Along with Kaz.
There you
and we're
go.
just going to video everything.
You'll love where I went.
You got a list.
Well, yeah, I went down, I had a few phone calls in.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller. Hello? Hello?
Greetings. Hello?
We went down 19th Street. That was another one.
Yeah.
And it was a little rough there, to say the least. Between Parade and Buffalo Roads, I got to turn that one in. 23rd and Chestnut, I went over there because the guys telling me people were putting their garbage out early. They
Yeah.
were.
Oh, yeah.
We got to stop that. I mean, that's not good, putting garbage out a week early.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it brings some of your little friends.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. Skunky the boys, they like that. Go ahead, caller. Hello, go ahead.
Kaz,
Yeah.
you know the white lines that they put in the police department puts in the streets for traffic control for speeding tickets?
I think they still do that. I know which ones you're talking about, yes.
Well, the ones on 41st and Elmwood Avenue, when they repaved the street 2 or 3 years ago, they never reinstalled them. I called the police department a half a dozen times, and they said they'd send somebody up to do it, and it's never been done.
You know, I'll ask the guy that's in charge of that. There were speed markers at 41st and Elmwood, right?
41st and Elmwood Avenue.
You know, I'm not even sure if they do it anymore, because I haven't seen them. Like, years ago, I used to, you'd see them around town, like they were on French Street near the old pot plant, and then you'd see them at different locations on East and West 38th Street.
Well, we had them here on Elmwood Avenue until they repaved the street 3 years ago.
I'm gonna ask them if they're still doing that program, and then I'll report it next week, okay?
All right.
One of the things I heard, though, it was on the news, they're thinking about, there's a piece of legislation that will allow local police departments to use speed guns.
Ooh.
They need to do something on Elmwood Avenue because it becomes a speedway in the summertime.
Oh, yeah, you got to be along East 38th Street, too, like, or West 38th, all of them. It's almost like people started losing their ability to drive slow anymore, you know?
Well, they used it for a shortcut, but for they come over 38th Street, go up Elmwood, and go over to Peach Street.
Yeah.
There's a shortcut. A lot of people use it for a shortcut.
And they forget they're going through residential neighborhoods. 41st and Elmwood, I'll make sure I ask the chief about that. If not the chief, I'll ask the guys in traffic department. Okay?
Yeah. I've asked 2 or 3 times, and nobody's ever did anything about it.
Okay, I'll see if I can get you an answer and listen to the show. As soon as I get it, I'll report it then.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, 'cause they used to do that, and I don't see them anymore.
Yeah, so I've heard that we can't use radar in the city. Why can't our cops use speed radar?
It's a state law.
Really?
Only the state police could use it. Even though you've seen 35 having them, you know, they're playing around with them.
Yeah.
They haven't got the rule in yet, but go ahead, caller.
Kaz, I read the editorial comments of Pat Howard this weekend about the mayor and maybe getting out there in the public a little more and letting us know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to agree with Pat Howard.
I didn't read the article this week. I got to get to it.
I mean, I don't think the mayor's number one on Pat Howard's hit parade, but I as a tax-paying citizen, wish that the mayor would get out and be a little more vocal about what's going on. And you can't hide behind it's a police matter and they're doing everything they can and I can't talk about it. That's just a shallow excuse. And I'll tell you the other thing. that just bothers the dickens out of me, Kaz. This do as I say, not as I do. And I'm talking about 3 individuals that work down there in City Hall that hold our future in their hands. And one of them is the mayor's assistant. She lives out in General McLean School District. She could never go into the areas that need the mayor's help, and she just couldn't go. She couldn't go. She's not equipped to do that. She might be great at getting the music lined up for different events and what have you, but we need someone with tattoos in their arm and maybe a badge who's the mayor's assistant to go over there and raise a little hell and shake it up a little bit. And you know, God bless that girl. She's a lucky individual to get that job. But this city doesn't need a cute little gal running over into the high crime district. She can't go there. And then Kim Green, you know, she's another Waterford girl. And I was really disappointed on Friday when Barry Dane Steinhagen asked the mayor about the land banking, this proposal that's coming from Kim Green, and he didn't know anything about it. He said he's the CEO of this 100,000 person city. If he doesn't know what's going on with his blighted areas, shame on him. That I could not believe that came out of him.
Well, I'm not sure if all the members of council know about it yet either.
You know, Kaz, I looked it up, and this is what I put in the computer. Land banking schemes in Pennsylvania. Come up, gave me all kinds of options. There's a 52-page booklet that tells you step by step about land banking and how it worked in Michigan and some other states that have already entered into it, and Philadelphia has, and Aliquippa has it in different places. But it's complicated. I think the first steps have to be, almost from what I gathered from a quick read of it, the first steps have to come from the government itself, not a redevelopment authority. There's like a conflict with the redevelopment authority and land bank.
You mean like the governing body would have to do it?
Yeah, first, and then you delegate a board, an authority to govern the land banking process, because there's money involved. Actually, after it's developed, this is one thing that jumps out at me. Half of the taxes generated for 5 years go back to the land banking authority. So for 5 years, if they do develop something, that property won't generate a full tax revenue. It'll only generate half. So we're going to have the county and the school district buy into this along with the city.
What do they do with the money then? Is that for more?
More investment, yeah, to take care of more properties. And Cass, you know, I'm like you. I ride through different parts of the city, and it breaks my heart to see what's going on. But
yeah, we definitely
have the problems big, and you got to do something. I agree, something has to be done. But you know, we all know the redevelopment authority had their chance over on 13th and Peach, and failed miserably with that program.
Maybe it's time for. And if we had to form another committee, the only way I would go along with it is, I think we need to put people on there that are professionals in that field.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, people that know what they're talking about. Number one. But it can't be controlled by you know, just one person or something like that. It needs to be every council person would have a representative, or.
You know, Kaz, and what it said in there, it can't be any less than 5 or any more than 11 people on the authority or the board that you make up. So, you know, maybe in this case, bigger might be better, because then you could get different talents.
Oh, some diversity. There's a lot of people out there that well, you've met them too, probably, and I've talked to them.
I have, yeah, Kaz. And you know, it just, something's got to give, because I'm tired of reading about all the bad things that are going on. We need some good news in this town, and we're suffering a little bit for good news, and it's too bad. I feel like some people are letting us down a little bit.
I don't feel, I feel like there's a couple people here at City Hall. If I had my choice, I'd unleash them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's people out there in the community that I know have never had the chance to serve.
Yeah.
That, if you put together the right committee,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You have to look at you can't hide behind the fact that, we look at this town like, it's a great time when we have the block parties. That's great. That's all fine.
Oh, yeah.
But go around, like I took a ride even today, and I was just in shock and awe from like a year ago when I drove through the same area, and I'm wondering, they always say, well, this isn't Detroit. No, it isn't, but, things happen a step at a time. You don't wake up and everything's bad one time, but, it's starting to slip a little bit, and it scares me because I don't hear good things from people when people are honest about their opinions.
Yeah.
You can't even get businessmen to come, we have to change that perception.
That's right, Kevin.
Because, and whatever it is that we need to do, we need to take back the neighborhoods. That's more important at this point. I mean, GAF will take care of itself. That's important.
Yeah.
But when you start watching, if you go to church on Sunday and you look at how many people around you, if you look at the people in the neighborhoods that are, starting to go down, it's a scary, and then you read on the news, and nobody has the answer easily, but you can't have, crime running wild every night. I mean, our policemen are under such duress.
Yeah.
And the amount of fires we get from abandoned property, it's a trivia that no one's got hurt yet.
Kaz, with all these youngsters with guns in their hands, you couldn't pay me $1 million a year to be a policeman. I feel sorry for our policemen, and one of these days something bad's going to happen. Someone's going to get an itchy trigger finger, and somebody's going to get hit with a bullet that's just a innocent bystander or someone trying to quell the unrest.
Yep, it's getting to be that.
Guys, I really hate to say that, but you just can't read every day in the paper where lesbians thrown around different parts of the city without somebody getting hit by it. And it's crazy. And I don't blame the policemen. It's a culture. We need a cultural change. 20-year-olds don't need pistols.
But it's strange that this country, and I blame this on. It's a little bit of everybody's fault.
Yeah.
We don't have the grant money to open up. People used to get mad about NATO centers and gyms and all that, but keeping the kids off the street. When they were in Little League and stuff like that, that's important. When they got free time and we would have never thought about picking up a gun.
Oh no, never, Kev. And the other thing we would have never done, we would have never disrespected a policeman. We would have never disrespected a school teacher. We would have never disrespected anyone in authority.
It wouldn't have lasted long if we did.
Yeah, it wouldn't have lasted long at all, because you'd have to go home and pay the piper, and that really, honestly, that just doesn't happen anymore, Kaz, and it's a shame. And you guys have a big job ahead of you, and turning this city around. And Kaz, I think one thing that flies under the radar, but it doesn't get talked about. We need an aggressive task force that gets the businesses that are here to expand here, and new businesses to come here, because that's what's going to make or break the city of Erie. It's going to be a job base.
Well, I've said for years, we all need to be ambassadors, the elected people and people in government.
Yeah.
But you're right, we need somebody to approach these businesses, to go up to, and I'm not going to pick on any one firm.
No, me neither.
Go up to an Applebee's, or go up to somebody that's got a plant, something, anything, industry, commercial, retail. Go up there and ask them what it would take to move to Erie. We've never had anybody do that.
What can I do to help you? And how can I make it? We got to become enablers, and we don't do that very well.
I remember I asked my parish priest, he asked Applebee's to come in town, but when I'm out of town, I'll ask different places, why don't you come here, or, and some of them will be very truthful. You don't meet the, what they, today it's all about numbers and everything, but, you gotta approach them and say, well, how do we work around those numbers?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But listen, guys, I got you going a little late here. Have a great week.
Hey, you know what I want you to do, though? Send me a link to that site. I'd like to read about that.
And Kat, it was thorough. I mean, it had charts, graphs, population studies, blighted houses per area. I mean, it was very, very well done.
I'd like to go to that site, so if you can send it to me or something.
I will, Kat.
Send me a link to it, and I'd you know how to get a hold of me by email, right?
Your email address at the city.
Yes, and then I'd like to read it, and because you know what, I got to be truthful. We, as a member of council, brand new one, I haven't been brought up to speed on the land bank.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a very important decision.
This is pretty easy reading. It's one step at a time. It takes you through the process one step at a time. So it's good readings, but I will make sure you get it.
Yeah, because I agree with you. We need to do something. I'm watching the city that I grew up in slip slowly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a lot of good here. It's a great city, but we have to prevent it from going down the slope.
Kat, I started at the Roger Young Projects. That's where I spent my first days, and I've been a city dweller ever since. So it's been a good city for me, and I hate to see what's happening to it happen. And maybe some people can help change that.
Yeah, we're not alone, but we got to We got to worry about our own city right now.
Right, that's right. All right, Cass. Have a great week.
We'll see you. AJ,
With that,
the time goes fast with you.
We are off the air. We're done. Thank you.
Yeah, as always, you're always welcome.
Thank you.
We'll go off the air with this one. Go ahead, caller. You'll be the last one.
You can help me out here. We've got some work needs to be done on the intersection, Cherry Street, northbound, right by Peach. It's a high traffic area. I would guess 3,000-4,000 cars a day.
That's up by Liberty Plaza, right?
No, it's right by across from the YMCA. There's a gas station on one corner. There's CVS on another, and then
I know Cherry and Peach.
Yeah, and when you're in the northbound lane, or you're turning from Peach onto Cherry, my goodness, that whole intersection right there, the whole walkway, has just been a mess for a couple of years, and they've come out many times and tried to patch holes and patch more holes, and it just needs to be done correctly, because it is a high traffic area for not only folks that drive their private vehicles, but also the city fire trucks use that intersection, buses, police, and it needs to be a first-class job done on that, not a patch job.
So it's when you're northbound on Peach, right?
No, northbound on Cherry.
Oh, okay, I'm going to put that down. Northbound.
Yeah, when you're northbound on Cherry, you just cross over Peach, and now you're on the north side of Peach. That's the side of the intersection that's the worst. The whole intersection is kind of bad. The whole walkway there, but that's particularly bad, and it could use some attention. It could use a real first-class job rather than just a really patch job, because it is a very high traffic area. And appreciate any help you can give us on that one.
Okay, I'll bring that up when I meet with the Public Works probably tomorrow.
That'd be awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
And with that, TJ?
Thanks for having me.
Adios.
Hasta luego. It's the same thing.
There we go, yep.
Now, if I said hasta la ninka, that means I will see you never.
You're always welcome to come here, though.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.